Maybe in certain worlds, Jerry Jones being a billionaire allows him some latitude to act like a fool. But I don't think it should. He owes the man an apology because he feels disrespected.
Well, first of all, let's be clear about something. I did not say the man should not have felt disrespected. I said he ain't owe no damn apology. There's a difference. I mean, if the question was being asked, should Ezekiel Elliott have felt disrespected? Of course, if the owner's joking around and says, who? Of course you should feel that way. But that doesn't mean he's owed an apology. Let's keep this in mind. When you talk about what Ezekiel Elliott has done, I love how you throw out the positives. Let's also throw out the headache he's been now. Man has been in the police blotters on at least 4 separate occasions since 2014. He comes into the National Football League. You cost Jerry Jones 6 games. That was a playoff berth that year. Ezekiel Elliott plays those 6 games. Excuse me, the Dallas Cowboys make the playoffs. That's additional money in the Cowboys' pocket. Who knows whether or not they could have contended for a title? Ezekiel Elliott wasn't there because of his off-field transgressions. Yet getting called up to the commissioner's office, another off-field transgression. Who's been there for him? Who's had his back? It's been the same man that's cut the check. So when you take that into consideration, while you caught up in your feelings about being disrespected, think about how you've disrespected this man by not being a professional you were supposed to be in terms of conducting yourself and making sure that you're available to perform.
That's an entirely different discussion. Maybe
it's all intertwined.
Just because he's done those things does not mean he does not deserve respect. So maybe Ezekiel Elliott owes Jerry Jones an apology. That's fine. But acting like he's nobody, Zeke who? Like maybe you thought it's funny. Maybe you find it's your job to entertain the media and make people laugh. But the person who is most important to this team is the guy whose feelings you hurt. So you owe him an apology.
Let me give you my example of disrespect where you should apologize. When years ago, Bill Parcells was coaching, I think it was the New England Patriots, and they asked him about Terry Glenn. And Bill Parcells said, she's okay. Now that's disrespectful. I mean, it's nothing. I mean, it was, and believe it or not, from a media perspective, it was absolutely hilarious. It was a drop the mic. I mean, it was hysterical to hear something like that. But it is clear that was flagrantly disrespectful. It was flagrantly offensive for Bill Parcells to say that about Terry Glenn. And by the way, he wasn't joking. Straight face, didn't laugh, said what he said, meant it, next question. He wasn't playing. In Jerry Jones' case, he sat up there and was clearly joking, was laughing.
Half-truth sometimes in jokes, though.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is he was clearly joking. And we all know Ezekiel Elliott being as great as he is, there is no such thing as Ezekiel who, because obviously you know who the hell he is. So clearly it was a joke. We all know it was a joke. Get over it.
I feel like Ezekiel Elliott probably feels disrespected throughout this whole process. This is just a straw that has broken the camel's back. This is something he can point to specifically. And Jerry Jones, like I mentioned, throughout this whole time has been negotiating through the media, trying to devalue Ezekiel Elliott, devalue a man who's been the most important player, probably arguably, maybe you could go to one of the offensive linemen, but he's been the best player on this team since he joined the team. And you're just going to go,
now I'm going to accuse you of being ultra-sensitive. So Stephen Jones going on the airwaves and saying everybody's going to be offered a top 5 contract at their position. Now we're sitting there and acting like that's disrespect. Let me tell you, it's not disrespectful. So don't tell me that Ezekiel Elliott has been disrespected throughout this process. I'm Jerry Jones. You know that I'm negotiating with our quarterback, who, by the way, wasn't even paid $1 million last year. So we got a situation where Ezekiel Elliott is getting paid.
How is that Zeke's fault?
I know that's not Zeke's fault. I'm not saying it's his fault. What I'm saying is he's being paid in excess of $6 million, being a 4th overall pick. Dak Prescott didn't have that luxury getting picked up in the 3rd round. Obviously, he's the starting quarterback, hasn't missed a game, hasn't had any off-field transgressions, has been the consummate leader for the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones is like, excuse me, plus he's the quarterback. So let me prioritize that position. You recognize that. You see the opportunity to exercise your leverage. You try to squeeze Jerry Jones, and then Jerry Jones turns it around, uses the media and any other mechanism available to him to try and squeeze Ezekiel Elliott, and now we got to be caught up in our feelings? Nah, it don't work that way.
I don't understand what Dak has to do with anything. You can prioritize Dak, you can pay Dak, but this is about going in front of some reporters and trying to get some cheap laughs at Zeke's expense. That is what the disrespect is. That don't have nothing to do with prioritizing. It has nothing to do with paying him top 5. None of that matters.
Is Ezekiel Elliott in camp?
No.
Was he not in Cabo last week?
He was.
Well, he now with the team. So
was he in legal trouble in May, past May in Vegas?
None of that.
I'm just saying.
None of that means that he deserves disrespect.
I don't think it's
You can come out there and say, well, maybe Ezekiel Elliott's off-field transgressions make him some somebody we don't want to sign. And you can come out there and say all the different things that you want, but saying Zeke could feel disrespectful to a guy who's been the best player on your team for 3 years.
Jerry Jones was in front of the cameras and sat up there and said, who? Next question. That's different.
Maybe
if he
he's
goes
just
like this,
trying to light a fire
Molly,
to get him
Molly,
back.
if he goes, who? No, I'm only kidding. Come on, y'all.
So
Stop that. I mean, come on now.
Do I need to call?
Here's
a serious question. Let me
Dear
ask you
Abby,
this.
Dr. Phil, you want me to call somebody? He needs
His feelings matter.
Come
I
on,
think they
man.
matter.
Oh, he has feelings too.
Can he ever be
Come
this
on, man.
sensitive that this could affect him now?
No,
And be
I don't
like,
think so.
Screw
I don't think
the
so.
Cowboys.
And this
I want to
is-
try to get with another team.
I don't think so. And I think that this has been something that he's been wanting to say, and Jerry has given an opportunity. He probably is not that offended by this, but he believes that Jerry Jones owes him more respect than he's showing him, which you show him by giving him the contract he deserves.
Which makes my argument. Fine. Don't give me this as being so disrespectful and let's stop the presses. No, Ezekiel Elliott was feeling disrespected before that because he's upset that he's not in camp with a new contract. That's what this is about. This ain't about that sound bite from Jerry.
I could look around this room and all the producers and the people who are talented and talk about how valuable everybody is here. And if we had someone in charge go on TV and say, Stephen A. who?
Right.
That would be disrespectful. It's flat out untrue. You're obviously valuable to this entity, but it's completely unnecessary to downplay someone who's been important.
Well,
that's disrespect.
Hold it. That depends on the situation. First of all, if I'm getting paid, you say what you want. That's number one. Number two, if I'm not getting paid, nothing you say is going to suffice. Everything you say is going to be embraced with an elevated level of cynicism, if not vitriol.
So then you understand.
No, I do understand.
So then you understand.
But that doesn't mean he deserves an apology from Jerry Jones.
He deserves an apology or a big-ass contract, one or the other. They better sit it his way.
Well, a top 5 contract is a big-ass contract.
Bigger than that.
Go. Maybe he thinks Tony Pollard's the future. Another player.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.